Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Choda with Ignition Time. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was interviewed by Jake Sherman at Politico less than an hour ago, and I'm going to bring you her latest comments from that interview, which are actually extremely important. And I'm also going to highlight some of the new comments today from US Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, because he was mentioned and he was quoted in the Wall Street Journal. Let's start with the Wall Street Journal, and you'll see the article from the Wall Street Journal on your screen today, and it says Mnuchin says talks remain stalled. He did say that House Speaker Pelosi may be open to resuming talks when the House convenes to take up the Postal Service bill later this week. Now, I've reported this elsewhere on my channel. The Democratic National Convention is going on right now, and this weekend the House has actually convened because they're going to vote on the Postal Service, and hopefully they'll start talking about the stimulus. I did cover this earlier as well, and Steven Mnuchin basically said the same thing. There's an overture from the White House, from the administration, saying that hopefully they'll talk about the stimulus negotiation. So when Mnuchin was interviewed on CNBC today, he suggested that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi might be willing to resume negotiations this week when she convenes the chamber to consider legislation on the post office. He specifically said Speaker Pelosi is coming back to look at postal. Hopefully she'll be more interested in sitting down. Now, you know the entire history of the negotiations between both these sides. The negotiations have been contentious, and the two sides were and are still pretty far apart. Now, the interesting thing is, when Mnuchin discussed this in a little bit more detail, he was asked to give an indication as to whether both sides had budged. And he said, I really don't know, when he was asked specifically about a deal. And he said, we started with $1 trillion. We agreed to increase that in several areas in an effort to compromise. They didn't come down. They never made us a proposal at $2 trillion. They never gave us a line by line counter. That's where things stand right now. Now, the important thing is Speaker Pelosi's comments today with Jake Sherman at Politico. So I do recommend you follow Jake Sherman on his Twitter feed for the latest updates about this situation. But here's what Speaker Pelosi said in the interview with Jake Sherman at Politico. She said, when she was specifically asked, do you think that there's going to be a likelihood of you folks discussing the stimulus in addition to the Postal Service bill this weekend? And, is this going to drag out? Is it going to last a long time? And when is the next deadline going to be the end of September? I have done another video on the next major deadline. We're talking about funding for the government, and that deadline is the end of September. So the speaker was asked, are we going to have to wait that long for a stimulus bill, a stimulus negotiation? And her response was, I quote, I hope not. I hope that we have an agreement. We've told them that there's no way we can send our children to school safely unless we can have more funding on education. And Speaker Pelosi continued to talk about this, and I will give you some of her comments. But the important takeaway is this. Mnuchin wants the speaker to come back to the table. The president wants Pelosi and Schumer to come back to the table. He said so, and I did cover that in another report on our channel yesterday. And the speaker has said that she would be willing to do that. I mean, these are her exact comments, as long as the deal includes the other things that the Democrats consider important. She said, and I quote, we've told them that there's no way we can open our economy safely until we have more resources and better policy and a strategic plan for testing. So it seems like Speaker Pelosi is standing firm with what she wants. And she said, we've told them that they are not funding state and local government adequately. I've done other videos covering this extensively on the channel. She said that people will be laid off and they will go on unemployment. So what are they saying? What are they saving there as they diminish the services that are impacting the country? And she said that it's impacting our healthcare workers, our first responders, our transportation, sanitation, food, our teachers are being laid off. Why? And she said, because there is a philosophical difference. This, by the way, gets into the heart of the argument between the Democrats and the Republicans. The speaker specifically said, they've said to me it's about tax policy. Why should one state have to pay for something that happens in another state? And then she said, and I thought this was a very telling comment, she said, welcome to the United States of America. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you agree with Speaker Pelosi's comments? I mean, we are the United States of America. I don't think we are called the red and blue states of America, are we? And I've talked about this on my channel. For me personally, it's not about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American. And so what Speaker Pelosi said is that, this is the United States of America. In effect, what she's saying is this is not the red, white, and blue states of America. And she said, she talked about what happened in the past with Katrina and all the other things that have happened previously in our country. Let me know what you think of the speaker's comments below, and essentially this deadlock that still exists, but there is a small window of opportunity because Stephen Mnuchin and the president want the speaker to bring up the stimulus, and the speaker said she's open to it because she doesn't want to wait till the end of September. That would be horrible. Let me know what you think of this current position of the stimulus talks in the comment section below. I appreciate you watching. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you learned something new from this video, please click the like button, please enable notifications, and please subscribe so you get instant updates going forward. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video at Ignition Time. Take care.